Hey travelers.
Welcome back.
And if you don't know, I'm Donna.
I'm John, and this is our traveling mutt Jack. We've been traveling the country now for about 3 years, and if you've been following along, we have been doing a lot of solar upgrades, and now that we've made it out to the Southwest, we have been doing a lot of boondocking since we've gotten here. So we thought this week we might offer you some tips to get you out boondocking. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do when you start boondocking is to scope out your sites. And by scoping out your sites, I mean they are different levels of boondocking. There's Walmart parking lots, Cabela's. One of our favorites is Cracker Barrels, the Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, things like that. Even if we use one of those, we always find the address, look at it on Google Earth. As you can tell, we've got a bigger rig. We don't fit into all spots.
No.
That includes BLM land. Not all BLM land and things are created equal. So be sure and use reviews like on Campendium. Please read the reviews on there. You can get a lot of insight into that. Another good one is Allstays.
Allstays, yeah.
Like I mentioned before, Google Earth. And even on top of that, a lot of times when we get to a place, we may find somewhere close by and either unload the bikes and go for a ride to check it out, or we could even just disconnect the rig from us and take the truck and go ride. We did that last year. Took the truck and went and rode around to find us a spot, and then went back and brought the rig into it just to make sure, because I promise you, you don't want to back this thing 2 or 3 miles down a rutted out dirt road. It's no fun at all.
No.
So.
And to have a backup plan in case that site does not work. Harvest Host nearby, or even a Walmart nearby. Any place other than that you can go spend the night until you can back up and regroup.
Absolutely. That leads us to another thing. Try to arrive before lunch or by lunchtime so that you've got plenty of time to assess where you're at, get set up, and you've still got daylight hours. You surely don't want to be going into some of these areas at night.
No.
Without a doubt. It's no fun doing it at night. So make sure and try to get there earlier. We usually try to hit those spots and stage out close enough so that we can get there around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. That's usually when most of the people start leaving, and then we can usually find us a spot. And that goes back to what you were talking about arriving during the middle of the week.
Yeah, that's another good. Don't arrive on a Friday or a Saturday. Chances are you're not going to find anything.
Boondocking and BLM camping is crazy popular, and it's very crowded, especially on holiday weekends. Fridays, we were at Quartzsite and got into Quartzsite at 10 o'clock on a Friday morning, and by 2 or 3 o'clock that afternoon, it was crazy how much it had filled up just that afternoon, even though there was lots of land.
There's lots of room out there.
Yeah, so on there, and be courteous. Don't crowd other campers. You go out to be on the BLM land and the boondock, and to be out on your own. And I realize there's some places that you might need to, but if you can, give everybody plenty of space.
That's right.
All right, another thing you're going to want to do before you head out, part of your pre-planning process, is to make sure that your propane tanks are topped off, your generator, that you have cranked it within the last few weeks and that it works.
Running order.
It's in running order. Don't ask us how we know. Make sure that you've got plenty of gas for it in the case. Even with us, we've got plenty of solar and plenty of batteries to carry us through and do anything that we want to do. But if we get a string of rainy days, we're going to need the generator to top the batteries off. So we carry extra fuel, make sure that the generator is cranked at least once a month, and we use it a good bit. So make sure that you've got your supplies, and that includes carrying water. You like to carry an extra jug of drinking water that we carry on the inside. So having drinking water and things like that, make sure all your tanks are topped off, and also make sure that all of your wastewater tanks are empty so that you've got as much storage as you can handle.
Next up is meal planning. I personally like to plan my meals out when we go boondocking, so I know what I'm fixing, everything that I need. I will even go so far as to say I'll wash all my fruits and vegetables prior to leaving out.
Saves water.
Save water. I usually try to do 1 pot, 1 skillet meals, so all I got to do is just warm it up.
And think ahead about how you're going to cook these meals. We're able to use most things, but really and truly, we end up using the outside grill or cooking on the gas range on the inside and things like that. So
what we use.
Microwave, we can use it, but we usually say that we usually don't. So think ahead at your types of meals that you're going to have, and go ahead. And the other thing is a lot of times some of the places that we've been, like here for example,
tote to get to a grocery store.
The nearest decent side, the nearest Walmart is an hour and 20 minutes away from here. So I mean, it's a ride to go get groceries. So think it through and carry plenty of food and water and stuff. I mean, you don't want to go crazy, but carry enough to eat and plan your days out.
Yeah, just plan your meals. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. And that goes in, and that rolls into the next subject. And we've seen this happen a lot. Don't leave food and waste and trash outside. Now I realize that as the waste starts to build up and your trash starts to build up, that naturally you want it out of the house. But if you bring it outside, it's bad to attract the local animals into the area. It'll also attract insects to your campsite, things like that. And not only that, it looks like trash. It's like trash.
You can always find a place to take your trash to if you need to. So
we were just at the Grand Canyon, and there was a campground up the road that they charged a few bucks for trash, but you could use their dumpsters as we went in and out of the Grand Canyon.
And you can get fresh water there.
Things like that. So that's on that Campendium and All Stays app. You can always find dump stations and places to dump your trash, stuff like that. It's on the All Stays app, without a doubt.
Remember, people, pack it in, pack it out.
No doubt. That's the worst thing that we hate the most. Is we go somewhere, they've got a fire pit, and I don't know, maybe it's us, but you know, tin foil or aluminum foil and beer cans, they don't burn.
They don't burn.
And we find them over and over again in campfire pits and stuff, and it just looks nasty. So pick up your trash and carry it out with you. I don't want to have to pick it up. I will, but I don't want to. Anywhere we go, we always try to police the area and pick it up and leave it better than when we arrived. Without a doubt. I've talked about this in other videos, but another tip is to start with really small trips. We started out, when we first got our system put together, we pulled into a full hookup campsite. We had power, water, sewer,
everything. We did that even
everything.
before we're starting that system. We
That's
had
true.
2 lead acid batteries.
Yeah, well, that's true. We would pull into a place and hook everything up and just not turn the electricity or the water on, just to kind of practice to see how long we could last, what it was like, that kind of thing. And we built up, and I think we sat at Cottonwood for 2 days with full hookups and never turned anything on, just practicing a little bit to see what it was like, make sure everything worked like it was supposed to.
Right.
You don't want to be discovering problems when you're 3 miles down a dirt road somewhere. Start small. Start by just little overnight trips like we were talking about. Overnight at a harvest host. That way you know what you can do.
Yeah.
And because we're about to head out. When we leave here, we will be 8 days in 2 different campgrounds before we have hookups again. So we have to do things like wash clothes, do all the maintenance, all that kind of stuff before we leave here.
Yeah.
You have to think ahead. So water consumption and conserving water, and
that's a hard one for me.
That is a tough one.
I like my water.
So you figure roughly about 3 gallons per person per day. That's for doing dishes, brushing teeth, all flushing the toilet, all that kind of stuff. You're going to use at least that much a day per person, if not just a touch more. So we carry about 60 gallons of water.
Yeah, so if you want, when you wash dishes, I have like a little basin that I just put inside the sink, and I'll use a trickle water and wash my dishes like that. So I'm not filling up this huge sink up with water. I can throw the water outside. It's just dishwater.
Take it outside.
Save the tank on that.
And also when we take a shower, which now there again, you're not going to get to run the water tank
Navy
out kind
showers.
of showers, Navy showers, but we keep a 2 or 3 gallon bucket in our shower, and when we're waiting for the water to warm up, we put that water in that bucket, and then when we're done taking a shower, we make sure and turn it on and off. But when we get done taking a shower, then we've got water in that bucket, and we'll use that to flush the toilet and use it in the toilet area. And it just helps save that water along the way. We know that after about 7 or 8 days, that we got to really start watching them on that point. So and make arrangements to come back and get water somewhere, or
get fresh water.
Like that.
And another thing, when you're boondocking, use paper plates.
Yeah. Not only does it save on
dishwasher.
water, but it also saves on trash too, because you can use those paper plates to start your campfire. And
not styrofoam.
Not styrofoam, paper. When we're in an area where we use it to start a fire and that kind of thing, and it just helps with waste as you travel along.
Yeah.
If you've got any questions about our particular boondocking setup, leave a link in the description. We wrote a blog about getting started and just using the basics. A lot of you can go out and boondock, limited boondock with what you get from the factory. I'll put a link for that also in there, down in the description. But we really appreciate you watching. Be sure and like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share us with your friends out there. And be sure and leave a comment if you've got any tips, because we all learn from each other.
Exactly.
Pass on the knowledge, folks, and we will see you next week.
Bye.